Welcome back to Post Time. It's cold out, but I didn't need to tell you that. So let's warm up with a story about one of our favorite Beach Boys.
He didn't wear surfer shorts, hang 10 on a board, or croon, "Help me Rhonda," but Bagel Beach Boy knew how to shine brighter than the sun during his career. He began racing in 2000 as a 2-year-old, and then as a 3-year-old, he competed against the best sophomore colts on the Grand Circuit. In fact, he won the Messenger Final at the Meadows, as well as the Matron Final right here at Dover Downs.
122-2 at the top of the stretch. Bagel Beach Boy has crushed this field. Bagel Beach Boy by 5. Peruvian Hanover takes up the chase. It's gonna be Bagel Beach Boy. Watch the teletimer. Bagel Beach Boy gonna win the West. Peruvian Hanover 50-1.
Bagel Beach Boy picked up a win every year of his career until his final season in 2009. There were thoughts over the past year of possibly bringing him back to the track, but instead, the pacer celebrated his official retirement at the end of this past season.
Well, we know that Bagel Beach Boy has been a great horse for a few different people, and Walter Callahan was the last trainer to have him. So, Walter, how did he come into your life?
I went to Chick's sale, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, and he was in the sale. He was in the ring. The guy said, "You ought to buy that horse," and I never even went and looked at him. I put up a hand one time. He struck him off to me 2,200. We took him home, worked on him, got him good. Took him on the Rosecroft. He beat the 4 claimers. He worked his all the way up to the 75s and 10s. Was a good horse, and then Maryland was about all done. I was starting to move most of them to Delaware, and I called Irene, and I said, "I got a nice horse." I said, "I think I'll do you good." And she said, "Who is?" I said, "Bagel Beach Boy." I said, "He's winning mess of races." And I said, he's a nice old horse. He's good-hearted, good horse. So she said, "All right." So she gave me what I claimed him for, took him right on, brought him to Delaware, and he kept right on winning and did very good for her, and she really loved him.
Yeah, I know that when it comes to the success for Bagel Beach Boy, especially in his latter years when you had him, Irene said nothing but wonderful things about Walter, you know, and really you were what was behind his success, getting him back to the track. But in addition to, he really loved to race, right? What made him a great horse?
Oh, when you brought him in out of the field and gave him a bath and got him polished up a little bit, and he knew he was going to the races, he was ready. He knew what it was all about, and he loved to work, you know. And I'd probably still be racing him, but he had a leg that was real bad on him 3 or 4 times, was hurting him a little bit. And I said, you know, I think enough's enough, and he's made everybody money. And I had a chance to retire him at the Peninsula Farm where he come from when he was originally born on that farm and raised. And Carter Dorr had the broodmare and all and sold him as a yearling. I think he brought like $150,000 as a yearling. And then I think Fashion Farms is the one that actually bought him at that time, Julius Siegel and them. And then they sold him at the end of the 2-year-old year, and Lloyd Arnold bought him that time. It was a real good horse for them, and I think he ended up with $800,000 or $900,000 on his card. Just a great old horse. He got a chance to go back there to Carter Dorr's, and I sent him back. He's in Kentucky now.
Yeah, it was really great. It worked out for everybody because I know Irene absolutely adores Bagel Beach Boy, and she has another retired horse, Fashion Upstart, and when Bagel was still at your farm, they were buddies, right?
Yeah, when I quit with him and wasn't sure whether Carter Dorr was going to take him back, we hadn't really discussed it. He said, "If you ever retire that horse," he said, "I'll take him." Well, I didn't get hold of him right away, and I didn't know I was going to train him back, so I left him there in the field. So I turned him out with Fashion Upstart. They were great buddies. They run out there and played and played and played. Winter was coming. I was going to Ohio sale. I called Carter, said, "You want that old horse?" He said, "You're going to retire him?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, bring him." So I took him right on to Ohio sale with me, and he picked him up from there. And I happened to even by the chance call him today about a brood mare, and he said the old horse was doing fine. I was glad to hear that.
That's wonderful. It's a great story. Thank you for being on the show, Walter. And Bagel Beach Boy, if you're out there watching, we hope you have a wonderful retirement. Thanks again.
Thank you.
In the final final race of the show, we'll take a look at some top pacers who recently competed at Dover Downs. Number 6, Dali, is the favorite with Tim Tetrick in this $35,000 preferred handicap at the First State Capital Racetrack.
They're off. There goes Dali from the outside, out for that lead. TG's Valuable Art with the rail. Harlingen Hanover got away in third, followed by Jeremy's Successor. Rock and Roll Band trails as they race into the turn. Dali up to get the lead. TG's Viable Art is back to second, followed by Harlingen Hanover. The early trailers are Jeremy's Successor and Rock and Roll Band. They go over toward the quarter. Dali opens up 2 lanes over TG's Viable Art. Then comes Harlingen Hanover, 27 2/5, the opening quarter for Dali, who has that lead. It's a length and a half. TG's Viable Art, Harlingen Hanover there, third, 2 lanes in front of Jeremy's Successor. Rock and Roll Band trails the field as they make their way over toward the clubhouse turn, and it's Dali, a length and a half. TG's Viable Art, followed by Harlingen Hanover. Jeremy's Successor is still there in fourth. In front of the trailer, Rock and Roll Band. Dali takes the field past the half in 56 seconds. Dali leads TG's Viable Art. Harlingen Hanover sitting third in front of Jeremy's Successor. Rock and Roll Band trails, and now Jeremy's Successor comes to the outside from fourth as they move up the back stretch. Dali, Jeremy's Successor all the way up into second quickly now. Down at the rail, TG's Viable Art, then it's Harlingen Hanover and Rock and Roll Band. They make their way into the final turn. Dali a half length. Jeremy's Successor on the outside, 3/4 in 124. It's Dali. Jeremy's Successor head back. Down inside, TG's Viable Art, Harlingen Hanover, 3 more to Rock and Roll Band. They're at the top of the stretch. Dali moves away from Jeremy's Successor. Opens up 2 lanes coming off the turn, and Dali has that 2.5 length lead in front of TG's Viable Art. Down the rail, Harlingen Hanover. It'll be Dali to win easy. Dali's in front. Harlingen Hanover and Jeremy's Successor, 151 3.
Dali goes from wire to wire in the top pace in 151 3 on a cold 28-degree Dover night. You may recognize the name Dali. He won the Matron Final back in 2008, and in doing so, he set an overall track record at Dover Downs in 148 2. This was his first appearance at Dover Downs since winning that big stake 2 years ago.
Thanks so much for hanging out with me and staying warm during the past half hour during our first show of 2011. Come out to Dover Downs this week. We've got great live action. It's happening 6 nights a week, Monday through Thursday. First race post times at 4:30 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, it all happens at 5:30 p.m. Have a wonderful week. I hope to see you at the track, and God bless.
Post Time is taped in front of a live studio audience.